So today we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if the Italians try to form an empire in the modern day. This video is going to be very unrealistic. All the events that are going to happen are purely fictional. Before we start the video, I want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel, also to the second channel where I'm uploading Age of History 3 videos. Join the Discord server via the link in the description. But yeah, now let's get right into the video. The Italians in the modern day are pretty strong. I think they are the 10th strongest country in the world in the modern day, so it won't be difficult for them to form an empire. Before even getting to militarize their country, we can see that right away they declare war on Slovenia. Since that's a viable option, not a lot of manpower will be used in this war. We can see that the Italian troops are now pushing into Slovenia, with their goal being the capture of the capital city. Ljubljana was captured. With the capture of the capital city, the remaining country surrenders. And later on, we can see that all of Slovenia got completely annexed by the Italian Empire. This was the start of the war. Major alliances like NATO, CSTO, the EU, or the UN, they do not exist in my videos. If they would exist, they would not let these empires to expand. So yeah, keep that in mind. After the war with Slovenia, we can see that the Italians send an ultimatum to Malta, demanding their annexation, which these guys had to accept. So now Malta is a part of the Italians, and basically their goal is going to be to dominate in the Mediterranean Sea. This has been their goal for over 2,000 years. After the first war, we can see that the Italians now start to militarize their country. They recruit more and more troops, also importing more and more weapons from other countries, basically trying their best to have a great military. After some militarization, we can see that they continue with their expansion, now declaring war on the Croatians, who really don't know what to do right now. But yeah, let's see. We can see that the Italian troops were already stationed on the border with Croatia. They start to push in, capturing all of these regions, and now they start to push down. They're not met with much resistance, and they continue their push down, capturing the coastline. Another army now pushes in from the north. This army was able to capture Zagreb, the capital city of Croatia. These parts surrender, and this army continues its push down, securing all of the southern regions, and the remaining armies of the Croatians now go ahead and surrender, as they had no hopes of winning this war. In this peace negotiation, we can see that all of Croatia got completely annexed by the Italian Empire. This is kind of understandable, and things are going great for the Italian Empire. The relations with some of the stronger European countries are now soured, as the Italian expansion is a huge threat to France and some of the other countries around. So yeah, we can see that the Italians kind of abandoned their Mediterranean campaign. They sent their troops back, and now they're going to be doing the unthinkable. Basically, we can see that they declare war on Switzerland, and yeah, now Switzerland is almost entirely mountains. Pushing into the country is near to impossible, but it is possible. We can see that the Italians now start to push in, making little gains, and these are really not enough. But yeah, I guess I could say that it takes them years to do all of this. They start another push from this front, securing some more regions. The Swiss are unable to push these guys back because they are overwhelmed, but because of the geography, the Italians are kind of slowed down. They make an encirclement down here. These parts surrender, and after years and years of fighting, we can see that some of the major cities were secured. This army pushes up, capturing Zurich, which I'm assuming is here. With the fall of that city, we can see that the remaining parts of Switzerland surrender, and finally, after years of fighting, the Italians now annex all of Switzerland. This really did not go well with any European countries, as Switzerland was the most neutral country in the world, not participating in any wars or alliances. The Germans and the French now hate the Italians, but yeah, that still does not affect the Italian expansion. At least we can hope. This was a costly war. Because of this, the economy has kinda went down. They had to invest a lot of money into their military just for this one war. The Italians are gonna take a lot of time in order to stabilize their country again, or maybe stabilize their economy again. But after a few more years, let's just say that they were able to stabilize the economy. Now they invest more money into their military, and they're going to be continuing their Mediterranean campaign. Now we can see that they declare war on Montenegro. They have a border with Montenegro down here, so yeah, a lot of Italian troops were stationed down here, and we can see that they start to push in. Montenegro is unable to defend itself. Eventually they lose their capital city, and they surrender. And right after this, we can see that the Italians send an ultimatum to Kosovo. These guys did not accept. left, because of which the Italians are now at war with the Kosovans. Same happens here. Hundreds and thousands of Italians now push into Kosovo. Pristina was captured and Kosovo also surrenders. In a peace negotiation, we can see that all of Montenegro as well as Kosovo got completely annexed. This is now a huge threat to the Bosnians, who are surrounded by the Italians on 3 sides and the Serbs on the other side. They're in a very weird situation. The Italians, after being able to stabilize their economy, import even more weapons now, which again kind of makes their economy go down, but at least they have weapons and they have a pretty good military, which is pretty much what they need to expand. They might just be one of the strongest countries in the world right now, might be the 6th or 7th strongest, but let's see. The Italians, since they had surrounded Bosnia, now decide that they want to take it out purely for expansion purposes. We can see that the Italians had surrounded all of Bosnia. They make a push down from here. This goes really well for the Italians as they were able to capture the capital city. They start a push down, cutting Bosnia into 2 parts. The Italians from here storm in, pushing back all of the Bosnian troops, who after getting devastated go ahead and surrender. Bosnians also get threats from Serbia, who is asking them for some regions in the east, and because all of this was too overwhelming for the Bosnians, they couldn't handle the pressure and they just surrendered to the Italians. Yet again, we can see that all of Bosnia got completely annexed by the Italians. They now almost controlled the entire Adriatic Sea. Some more time goes by. They were trying to strengthen their relations with the Germans and the French, which was not going too well. The French especially really hate the Italians right now because of all of this expansion, but the Germans, they're just kind of chill, but they still hate what the Italians are doing. The Italians, however, now send 2 more ultimatums. One was sent to North Macedonia, the other was sent to Albania. The North Macedonians surrender, but that's not the case with the Albanians. And because they did not accept the ultimatum, we can see that the Italians now declare war, going all out expansion mode. We can see that the Italian troops now start a push into Albania. The terrain is kind of harsh, but they've done this before. They can do it again. They take all of the important regions, including the capital city. The rest of the country surrenders, regretting their decision of not accepting the ultimatum. And at this point, we can kind of see that they look like a mini version of the Roman Empire, although now they're pretty much done with all of this region, and I know how much of an unstable region this would be, and I wonder why. But yeah, the Italians are just gonna stop from here. They took out all the resources from these countries, and basically they now declare war on the French. Yes, this is all because of the hatred that was coming from the French, and things are about to get pretty hideous. So let's see. We can see that since the Italians were prepared for this, right away they were able to capture all of Corsica. We can see that they start a push into France, and they push in from the southern regions. They're making some progress down here, pushing in and capturing all the coastal regions. Yeah, that is about it for now. The French are in panic mode as they were really not expecting this to happen, or they might have been expecting this to happen. In any case, they mobilize their forces, sending them down towards the front lines, and we can see that the French armies now have arrived, but after losing a lot of regions to the Italians. Although with the arrival of these troops, since they know the terrain better than the Italians, we can see that they were able to push these guys back, and not all the way to their borders, but they still made a lot of progress. The Italians were also investing in a pretty good navy in the Mediterranean, which is going to come to their advantage. The French continue to push these guys back, but the French were kind of fooled here because the Italians had secretly sent their navy all the way to the Gulf of Biscaya. I don't know how to pronounce it very well, but yeah, they're basically here, and we can see that they make a naval landing down in the southern regions and they start a push around. This is a huge blow to the French morale, as now they are fighting a 2-front war. This makes them send their armies back to this front line, and over here the Italians are really going all in. This was a part of the reason why they did not push in too much here, because they had sent 50% of their troops here. Because the French sent their armies back to here, the Italians now continue their push in, securing even more regions, and yeah, they're kind of chilling out in these borders right now because of the geography. But with the arrival of the French troops, the Italians do get pushed back a little bit, but they don't get completely pushed out. The Italians now continue their push down in the south, securing pretty much all of the Mediterranean coast. More and more armies arrive from the Balkans, who are helping out the Italians right now. Another blow to the French is the Italians make a surprise naval landing in Brittany, capturing the entire region, and yeah, things are really going down for the French. All of these are surprise attacks, that's why the French are unable to push these guys back. They might have the military strength to do so, but everything is just a surprise right now. More armies arrived to this front too. They were able to push the French back. Now their goal is to try to meet up with the main armies, which they do so successfully, and now there is a meetup like this. The French are successful in pushing the Italians back from Brittany. They push them all the way back and outside. But because of this, we can see that an Italian army is now pushing up. It is pushing up real hard. French are unable to push these guys out. Their armies are dwindling. Cohesion is kind of lost. And the Italians are pushing in from all fronts. Eventually, after a lot of pressure, we can see that the French agreed to a peace negotiation because they were kind of losing the war. This war was very costly for the Italians too. They lost a lot of men, a lot of resources. So they too are in the favor of ending this war, but let's see what they get out of this war. Bye-bye to the Mediterranean coast. Bye-bye to all of these southern regions. The remaining country of France is released, but yeah, the Italians got a lot of land from France down here. This gives them a lot of strength, more and more resources, but they would take a lot of time to come out of this whole mess. And when they do, we can see that finally they end things off with declaring war on the Greeks. This is just for the Mediterranean campaign. I don't know if this would happen in real life, but yeah. Now with all the strength they got from invading all these countries, the Italians are much more stronger now. They start a push into Greece, easily being able to push the Greeks back, and only in a couple months they were able to capture Athens. They push in from here too, capturing Thessaloniki and the entire Thracian parts. These regions surrender, Crete was taken out, and finally after maybe some 10 or 11 months of fighting, the entirety of Greece falls, and this was a huge success for the Italian Empire. They took out a very major country down there. Now, at the end, they would be sending some ultimatums, only asking for land. Let's just say that these countries accept the ultimatums. And yeah, these were only two countries, the Austrians and the Tunisians, who probably did not want to go against the Italians, but this is the Italian Empire at its peak. So this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And thank you for watching.